What if the stories we thought were just movie magic weren't fiction at all? Across dark forests, deep lakes, and candlelit cottages, ancient creatures have whispered their names through time, some mourning the dead, some stealing your breath while you sleep, and others, well, they never wanted to be found. In this episode, we're uncovering 7 mythical creatures that inspired films, haunted nightmares, and might still be lurking just beyond the edge of the screen. Some come from the forests of Slavic myth, others from the shadowy corners of Ireland, Germany, and beyond. So dim the lights, hold your breath, because these aren't just tales, they're warnings. Let's begin. She doesn't knock, she doesn't speak, she screams, and that scream means someone is about to die. The Banshee is one of the most feared figures in Irish folklore, a ghostly woman with long, tangled hair, pale skin, and a cry so piercing it's said to split the night in two. Some say she appears at your window, others claim she walks along lonely roads, wailing under the moonlight. But here's what makes her terrifying. She doesn't kill you, she just shows up when death is near. This legend has been around for centuries, passed down from Gaelic oral traditions. It was believed that each major Irish family had their own banshee, mourning them before tragedy struck. But the idea of a ghostly wailing woman didn't stay in Ireland. It traveled. You've seen her, even if you didn't realize it. The banshee's eerie scream has inspired countless horror scenes, from The Haunting of Hill House to The Conjuring 2, where ghostly women weep in the shadows before chaos unfolds. Even in Teen Wolf, a popular supernatural series, the Banshee became a main character. Her powers reimagined for modern audiences, but always rooted in one thing: the scream that predicts death. So does she really exist? Scientifically, no. There's no proof, no body, no sound recording. But folklore, culture, fear, the Banshee lives on. In stories, in nightmares, and in every moment you hear something cry in the dark and nothing's there. Her scream warns of death, but not every monster shouts. Some lurk in silence, waiting just beneath the surface. Meet the Grindylow. A creature from English folklore said to dwell in cold lakes and murky ponds. Thin, gangly arms, greenish skin, fingers like ropes, ready to snatch anyone leaning too far over the edge. For centuries, parents in Yorkshire and Lancashire used the Grindylow to scare children from wandering too close to deep water. But the fear wasn't just a parenting trick. Tales tell of travelers vanishing without a sound, dragged under by something they never saw coming. In modern pop culture, the Grindylow swam back into the spotlight, literally, in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Those water demons that attacked Harry during the Tri-Wizard tournament? Based on this very myth, scientifically, there's no proof a creature like this exists. But the fear of what's lurking beneath, that's real. And maybe that's the scariest part. Because when the water's calm, that's when it strikes. By day, she was a daughter, a sister. By night, a monster that tore through villages with claws soaked in blood. In Polish folklore, the Striga is no ordinary undead. She's born from betrayal, a child who died unbaptized, a woman who died wronged, or someone cursed by the evil eye. And when they return, they don't come back as themselves. The Striga rises from her grave with sharp teeth, bird-like talons, and a hunger for human flesh, especially children. She's not a ghost. She's something worse, cursed, physical, and almost unstoppable. In the Witcher series, the Striga appears in one of the most haunting storylines. A cursed princess turned into a monstrous being, sealed in a crypt. It took Geralt more than a sword to survive her wrath. And maybe that's why the myth still haunts Poland and Eastern Europe. The idea that grief, injustice, or unfinished death can twist a soul into something unrecognizable. Can science explain it? No. But the fear of a loved one coming back, different, that hits something deeper. And with the Striga, you don't hear her coming. You just find the door open and blood on the floor. Deep in the Slavic forests, where light barely touches the ground and silence hangs heavy, something watches. He's known as the Leshy, a towering forest spirit, part man, part tree, entirely unknowable. His eyes glow like moss in moonlight, and his laughter, it echoes through the trees, never from the same place twice. The Leshy isn't your typical monster. He's a guardian of nature, of balance. Cross into his woods respectfully, and you might leave with a story. But disrespect the forest, chop trees carelessly, hunt without purpose, and you may never leave at all. He's a shapeshifter. Some say he can shrink to the size of a blade of grass or grow taller than the canopy. Travelers report getting lost in familiar paths, their compasses spinning, footsteps retracing endlessly. All signs the Leshy is near. Pop culture took a swing at him too. In the game The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt 2015, a creature called Leshy is clearly inspired by the Leshy, antlers, twisted limbs, and control over wolves and roots. It's one of the game's most iconic and chilling encounters. But the real fear isn't the fight. It's never knowing if you're alone in the woods or being watched. So if you ever hear rustling when there's no wind, don't run. You're already part of his forest. Have you ever woken up, frozen in bed, unable to move, feeling like something is sitting on your chest? That's when the Alp strikes. From German folklore, the Alp isn't a ghost nor a demon, but something far more intimate. It haunts your dreams, creeping in at night to sit on your chest and feed off your fear. The term nightmare, it comes directly from creatures like this. It's said to wear a magical hat, the Tarnkappe, allowing it to shapeshift into animals, smoke, or shadows. But its true form? A pale, gnome-like figure with sunken eyes and long fingers, cold as death. In modern times, the Alp has inspired everything from horror literature to film, like the German horror movie Mara, 2018, where a demonic presence invades people's sleep, a clear nod to this ancient myth. Sleep paralysis? Scientists explain it. But what if that shadow in the corner isn't a trick of the brain? What if the Alp is still out there, waiting for nightfall? When the house creaks at night, when you feel eyes on you but no one's there, that might not be your imagination, it might be Kikimora. In Slavic folklore, Kikimora is the spirit of a woman who died tragically, sometimes from betrayal, sometimes in childbirth, and now she lives in your home, not beside you, not with you, inside your walls. She's not always malevolent. Some say she rewards tidy homes, but if you offend her with mess, arguments, or disrespect, she'll twist your sleep into nightmares. Dishes crash, shadows flicker, and your breath feels suddenly too loud. In the Witcher series, Netflix 2020, Kikimora appears right at the start as a terrifying, spider-like swamp creature. While that version is more beast than ghost, it borrows the name and fear from this age-old Slavic myth. What makes Kikimora frightening isn't her claws or fangs. It's the feeling that someone is always watching, always listening, waiting, and by the time you realize she's real, you're already living with her. They say if you walk too deep into the forest, where the sun barely touches the ground, you might hear branches creak, not from wind, but from something older than the trees themselves. That's where the Sylvan waits. Originating from Roman and Greek traditions, the Sylvan is a forest spirit. Not evil, but not gentle either. He's the keeper of wild things, the guardian of nature's balance, often described as a tall, shadowy figure cloaked in moss, bark, and antlers. Almost like the woods gave him a body to protect themselves. He doesn't speak, he listens, to the crunch of footsteps, to broken branches, to those who enter without permission. In pop culture, you might catch glimpses of Sylvan-like beings in films like The Ritual, 2017, where a group of hikers encounter something primordial in the Scandinavian wilderness, a creature that isn't hunting for blood, but for trespassers. What makes the Sylvan so terrifying isn't just that he exists in myth, it's that the forest has always had eyes. Eyes that remember. So next time you're surrounded by trees and silence, ask yourself, are you alone or are you being watched by something rooted in the oldest stories we've forgotten? There you have it. 7 mythical creatures that didn't just crawl out of ancient stories. They've shaped our films, haunted our dreams, and maybe they're still out there in the dark. Next time you see one of these beings on screen, remember, you're not just watching fiction. You're staring into the echoes of our oldest fears. And hey, if you've been following this series, you know how deep these myths go. But if this is your first episode, you're missing out on some truly terrifying creatures. Hit that I button right now or check the end screen to watch episode 1 and 2. Trust me, they're worth it. Each creature, crazier than the last. If you enjoyed today's journey through legend and cinema, like the video and subscribe to Lostopedia. We've got more ancient monsters and unexplained mysteries coming your way. But before you vanish into the night, which creature got under your skin? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I always read them. Let's see what truly haunts your imagination. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and never stop exploring what waits just beyond the edge of the screen.